going here and talking about the different types of minerals. And when we look at minerals, like I said, we have over 3,000 to 4,000 types of minerals, and we can classify them in all types of different ways. And that's kind of what we have right here. And what I want you guys to notice is mostly we have the native elements. We'll talk a little bit about oxides and hydroxides through the course of this unit. We'll also be talking about silicates and carbonates. So those are the big four that we're actually going to talk about as we move through this unit. So basically the native elements, those are basically what we're thinking about right now. Those are like your metals, right? Gold, silver, tin, all of those are your native elements that do typically form in crystalline structures. What I want to look at next is basically a little bit, just a quick preview of the other types of elements, or not elements, but minerals. So we have silicates. You guys remember that silicates is SiO4. That's written incorrectly. It should be SiO4. And that's basically where you have this really big silica atom. And then you have, so you get this little pyramid shape. Where you have 1, 2, 3, 4 oxygens, and then inside that is one really big silica atom. Okay. Now, the thing about this is the silicate actually has a -4 charge. And the reason why these are actually the most abundant, not just the most common form, but the most abundant of all the minerals on Earth, this makes up 80% of all the minerals on Earth. So the silicates are kind of a big deal. Most of the time when you look at silicates, it's pretty obvious that they are your, basically if you pick up a mineral, probably will be a silicate mineral. Now, the SiO4, each one of these oxygens is able to bond with another compound. And so because of that, you have 4 different ways that this silicate atom or compound can actually bond with other types of materials.
Yeah, that's a form of chemical bond.
Now carbonates are pretty cool. Basically, anytime we get a metal that combines with a carbonate ion, we get these types of minerals. Now, again, when I lived in Arizona, I got to go to a lot of different rock shows. It's basically one of the national shows is actually out there in that state, and that's where I got a lot of my stuff from. But copper mining was big in the state. In fact, there's a little tiny town called Bisbee, Arizona. It's actually the biggest town west of Mississippi, all the way through the 1800s. And that's because of the amount of copper mining that was going on. What color does copper turn when oxidized?
Green.
Green, right? So you have this beautiful copper roof that lasts less than 1 year, and then oxygen interacts with the copper, and we get this nasty grime that actually forms on the outside of the copper. Well, what happens is the same thing happens to copper underground. When water comes in contact with copper, it leaches out some of the copper itself, and we get these different minerals that actually are formed. So these are carbonates that are typically associated with copper mining. So this little first piece I'm going to pass around is called peacock ore. And in this is copper. Not necessarily, when we say in there, it means that it's chemically bonded somewhere inside here. But you can see the different colors that are produced. It almost has this oily look to it. The other two is malachite, which is this beautiful green piece of rock, and azurite. So think about those guys who are taking Spanish. Azul means blue. So that's the difference between azurite and malachite. So that's these two coming around. And then anytime we have oxygen that bonds with a metal, we get an oxide. So we think about iron. Iron itself does not naturally exist. You never will find a pure form of iron just sitting deep inside the earth. It's usually mixed together with oxygen, and we actually get iron oxide, which we also call flux. Iron oxide, what is it? It's rust. So all that stuff that's hanging off the side of Mr. Kimball's truck is actually a mineral. All right, and that concludes our notes for today.
Yeah.